Good evening, everyone. I am CA Bhavi Thakkar. Welcome you all on behalf of Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, ICAI. Welcome you all for this webcast on building resilience and coping managing stress effectively. Today, I welcome our resource person, CA Shraddha ma'am. How are you, ma'am?
I'm great, ma'am. Thank you so much. Hope everyone is doing great.
Yeah, and all others present here, a very good evening to all of you. Let's today have a very interesting session on the very important topic that is stress management, effectively how we can manage stress. So this is right now a very important topic in this audit season when every CA, every person in the office of CA is facing this stress. Ma'am, today we are very glad to have you on this session. First, before we bring you out with all the sessions, I will introduce ma'am on a very brief note. Ma'am, Shri Ashradha ma'am is a versatile finance professional with a work experience from India as well as abroad. She has done her CPA from USA and a qualified chartered accountant from ICAI. Welcome you, ma'am, on today's session. Her
Thank you so much,
specialty
ma'am.
is being able quickly adapt the dynamic work environment, sharp technical skills, and effective communication skills. Creatively, she is out of the box thinker. Ma'am, we are so glad to have you here. She is having 18 years professional experience, and today on this topic, I welcome you, ma'am, to enrich us on this topic. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you so much, Bhavi, ma'am. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. And welcome, everybody. Namaste. Very good evening. And as Bhavi, ma'am, rightly said, maybe this is becoming one of the very important or hot topic today on how to manage stress effectively and how to build that coping skill, that resilience that is needed. Without further delay, let me get into the session. So let me start sharing my screen. All right. So is my screen visible?
Yes, visible.
All right. So once again, welcome to this session on building resilience and the scope and the coping skills for managing stress effectively. You see that I have written a small thing down, like we have to audit our emotions regularly and test for that overstatement of stress and understatement of joy. Now, as we go through the session, we will understand what is that stress audit we are talking about. Now, setting the context for the session before we actually get into the session, what are the objectives of this session? So, we will first understand what exactly is stress, the science and science of stress, choosing the response, developing the awareness, then building the resilience and the coping skills for effective stress management, and then coming up with that personalized action plan that is needed for managing stress effectively. Now, you will see that there are certain diagrams or figures as you see next to each of these. So, you will understand what those figures really mean as we go through the session. Now, getting into this introduction, understanding stress. Now, usually, what is stress? Stress is generally defined as a response to any challenging or any tough situation. So, remember, it is not the situation by itself. That is, the stress is not defined as a challenging situation, but a natural response or the response to the challenging situation. So it is good news, isn't it? It is only our response that determines if that is really stressful. It is not the situation by itself, which means the control switches are well with us. It is not outside. So that is good news. So in most situations, we can see that it is the inappropriate or the incorrect response to the situation that is really the cause of the stress. And again, trying to understand, there are two types of stress. Eustress, which is a positive kind of a stress, and distress, which is a negative kind of a stress. Now, let me tell you some interesting story just to give you this differentiation and what exactly we mean by eustress and distress. Now, when I was first traveling from New York to San Francisco, I was very excited, right? So, first trip to the US, everyone is excited. So, the first trip from New York to San Francisco, the flight time is, if I'm not wrong, roughly around 6 hours. I was really bored, to be very honest, but then excitement, first, like kind of a flight travel within the US, so very happy. Now, it was a 6 hours journey, remember. Now, after my work got done in San Francisco, when I was taking the return flight, I expected that, okay, it's going to be a 6 hour long flight. So I need to like take a good book with me, which will exactly last for 6 hours. Or maybe I need to keep myself engaged for 6 hours. I was planning for a 6 hour travel time, basically. But then to my surprise, the flight time from San Francisco to New York was only around 4 hours. I was really like, oh my God, what is this? Why did the flight time from New York to San Francisco take 6 hours while the return flight is only taking 4 hours? Now, of course, the distance between the two cities has not reduced. Was it because the pilot who was like driving the return flight more capable? Not at all. All of them almost the same, and it could have been like even the same pilot maybe who is like kind of running the flight that day. Then what caused this time like efficiency in the return flight? That's where the tailwind, there is a concept called a tailwind, right? When your direction of journey and the direction of the wind is the same, that wind really gives you a push. So it actually helps you navigate. And I just took the flight example, but a very simple example all of us would have seen in school when we ride a bicycle. Like we used to, most of us have gone to school on bicycle or have taken a fun ride on the bicycle. You should have seen that, like, when you are actually riding the cycle in the direction of the wind, you don't have to put much efforts. The wind actually pushes you automatically forward. But then the reverse is not always the case. You have to put additional efforts when you are riding against the direction of the wind. And not always like we are fortunate enough to take the same direction of the wind. So that's called the tailwind, right? What does this eustress or the positive stress do? It plays the role of that tailwind because that little bit of stress is something which motivates you. It motivates you to be fully prepared. It motivates you to actually take all the necessary steps to do the job or whatever task at hand very efficiently to manage it. It gives you that kind of a motivation. So it is good. But then, what is distress? The too much of stress. It is like the storm that destroys the aircraft. While it is the same air, but when it takes the form of a wind, it is able to give you that lift, give you that push. But then the same air, when it is just too much, uncontrollable, what happens? It is a storm which even destroys the aircraft, leave alone helping you reach your destination. So that's the difference between eustress and distress. Unmanaged stress in extraordinary proportions, too much of proportions, so much that it becomes unbearable, it breaks you down, it causes a burnout. That is distress. So, here, when we are referring to stress, more often these days, it is distress that we are talking about, and we are not talking about that positive aspect of it, that you stress, which is actually pushing you. That's because we have now made it in such a way that it has become unmanageable. We are not doing that stress audit to understand if it is overstated. And that is the reason why we are here discussing about this session today. Now let's move on. Now, having spoken about this distress, unmanageable, heavy quantum of stress, that is actually the damage maker, we definitely need to understand what are some of the common sources of stress, correct? And all of us have experienced this. In fact, this is just a reference slide. It could be anything. This is not an exhaustive list, but just some examples. It could be an approaching exam, approaching deadline. It could be long working hours. It could be work related demands. It could be competition. It could be lack of knowledge or experience on the task. It could even be new tasks, challenges, places, situations. And this is when we really need to be prepared with a stress audit. What are we experiencing right now? Right? Because unless we are very conscious and do that kind of a stress audit, it is really very difficult to manage or even differentiate if what you are experiencing is a eustress or a distress, in fact, right? All right. So, having seen the common sources of stress, let's now try to understand the signs and signs of stress, right? Now, the signs of stress, of course, most of us would be aware about cortisol, which is the stress hormone, right? So, really, what happens? Just to understand the kind of damage, of course, the reason why we have introduced the signs of stress here is just to give you an example on how much of an impact even a few minutes of distress is actually causing to your mind, body, your emotions, and your health. Just imagine there is this hormone called cortisol, which is a stress hormone. And where is its source? All of us are aware about the adrenal glands in the human body, which is just above the kidney. So, this hormone is responsible for releasing the stress hormone or the cortisol. And remember, this adrenal gland is called the gland of fight or flight because it is given by nature to prepare us for any emergency situation. Fight or flight is what? You need to be prepared for a fight or flight. That is, that flight could mean either fight or run away. The situation is so demanding that is so much for you to handle. That is the signal to the adrenal gland during an emergency situation. But imagine if we are going to take too much of stress, unmanaged stress, every day, every time, you are signaling to the body, signaling to your mind that it is always an emergency situation for you, which is not how the human body is designed to operate. An emergency situation is an exceptional situation. Every day, 24/7, you can't signal to the body that it is an emergency situation. What happens then? Cortisol increases your energy. It increases the energy in the body in various ways so that you can fight the emergency situation. That increased energy takes away the immunity from you, your resistance, your immunity, your mental ability to handle things, your emotions. Everything is not normal because you have signaled to your mind that it is an emergency situation, right? It is like a kind of a situation where you have to save yourself. It is a situation where you have to fight for yourself. So, neither your mind, nor your body, nor your emotions are in your control now. Anything could happen, anything could go wrong. So, what happens here is whenever there is this eustress, the good kind of a stress, there is little bit of a stress there where for a temporary time being, for a small amount of time, if the cortisol level is increasing, little bit of an energy boost is there, little bit of a like kind of a push is there, then it is good news because you really operate with an increased rigor there and an increased energy there. So for a short term stress, Even if it's a distress, if it's a short term stress, cortisol might help you to cope. That is why it is there. That is how the body has been designed. But what happens with a chronic stress? There is excess cortisol, and you are always giving the signal that it is an emergency situation. It is too much for even cortisol to handle. It is too much even for your adrenal glands to handle. Your immunity is completely lost, and it is very, very harmful for your body. Now, this explanation I'm telling you just to understand. Imagine the extent of damage we are doing by not understanding the health hazard, the psychological effect of stress. Stress is definitely not helping you manage the situation when it is a distress. In fact, it is only making you less efficient. Whatever energy you should have spent on thinking about the solution for the problem is now really going in just worrying about the problem. I'm just reminded of a very interesting anecdote here. When we talk about this problem, we talk about stress, we talk about solution. Now, all of you know about the famous cricketer Ricky Ponting, right? There's a very interesting interview where one of the reporters asked Ricky Ponting during the time when he was at the peak of his career. Someone asked Ricky Ponting, how is that every time you just walk out to bat, we see that it is just raining sixers and fours, even on a pitch where other batsmen don't seem to be playing with the same aggression as you, where they feel that the pitch is really not very good. But still, how is that whenever you go out there, we always see it is just raining sixers and fours? You know what was the famous answer given by the famous cricketer? He said, while other batsmen might focus on the fielders, I focus on the gaps. Well, I'm not too good with cricket, but still, I could really relish and enjoy this beautiful kind of an answer given by him and could relate it to the real problems we face in life. The fielders are the problems, right? The gaps is the solution. And what is our objective? Our objective is not to focus on the fielder. It is the boundary. It is the four, right? So when we are having the focus objective to hit a four, then why focus on the fielders? Focus on the gap where you have to hit the ball for it to cross the boundary. That's where the problem comes. We think that by focusing on the fielders, we are really thinking about the solution and we really are going near the objective of hitting a boundary. But the problem is, we are actually looking at the obstacle. The fielder is there to just stop the ball from going to the boundary. The focus has to shift. So, stress is like focusing on the fielder. It is not going to give you the solution of the ball crossing the boundary. You have to look at the gaps if you really have to make the ball go through the gap and cross the boundary, isn't it? It looks very simple, but I know when the situation comes, it may not be as simple. But trust me, with practice, we can consciously train ourselves to focus on the gaps and not on the fielder. All right. Now, having said that, we have understood the sign of stress. Now, what are some of the signs of stress? The sign, meaning symptom. What are some of the symptoms? This doesn't need any explanation because I'm sure all of us have experienced these kind of symptoms. We experience physical symptoms like sweating, headache, fatigue, sometimes even sleep issues, worrying about the issue on hand, right? Emotional, it could be irritability, anger, low motivational levels, even anxiety. Behavioral issues, where we withdraw ourselves from the team, we refuse to work in a group, or we keep procrastinating things because we are sometimes afraid to face the situation. So we just keep trying to push it till the last minute. And of course, obviously, mistakes because we really lost all our energy in coping with the stress and we really couldn't bring that efficiency in the actual job on hand. And there I told you when we were looking at the first slide that there are some diagrams or figures that were there. And the reason why we put these diagrams is just to relate to the slides. So the science, which is like the kind of knowledge that we get about stress, and the signs or symptoms which falls on us like lightning. So that was just for little bit of a kind of pictorial way to represent on what this stress really does to us, right? Now let's move on. Now choose the response. The figure here, of course, even on the first slide, what we put was that of a diamond and a coal, right? And there's a reason. All of us would have heard this saying, coal and diamond are both carbon, but one knows how to handle that stress, knows how to handle the pressure. That is why it has transformed into a diamond. But the other one really didn't know how to actually respond, how to actually take that stress in a positive way, because every situation, trust me friends, prepares that for extraordinary destiny. Don't you think so? Every challenging situation prepares us for an extraordinary destiny. Smooth seas never make skillful sailors, and that is where skillful sailors really love to take the sea that is rough, because they know that by the time they come out of this voyage, they are not going to be the same person who started the voyage, right? Now they are wiser, they are better. So that's the approach that is needed even for normal journey of life, not just for a sailor who is taking the sea, right? So this is the kind of like saying which all of us have heard. Let's life challenges not turn you into dust. Let's turn you into a diamond. But trust me, do we remember this when we really are facing the situation? It is very easy, right? Very easy to say that, okay, I have to be a diamond. All of us want to be diamonds. No one wants to be a coal. But then, do we remember this when we are actually facing the situation? Now, let me give you one real life example. To be very honest, it is not that I like this saying so much. Trust me, I love this saying so much. But it is not that I can remember this when I'm facing a very tough situation. And that is why I have written there the Mayor Kelega story. What is that? That's from a real life example. Now I'm going to tell you what happened once when I was facing such a tough situation and how I tried my best to come out of it. But the realization came little late, not when actually I was facing the situation. All right, let's go to the story. So my first trip to the US, okay? I visited US for the first time in summer during July, during the Independence Day weekend in the US, when the weather, the climate there is just awesome. It's beautiful out there. And that was a business trip, which was just for a month. So I was there for the whole of July and I enjoyed each and every the weather, everything was so good out there. And of course, summers in the US are so good for those of you who have been there. So I was really fascinated and I came back. The next time I was traveling, and imagine my kind of picture about the US after that visit has always been about the summer. So I thought, oh, wonderful, so beautiful. That has been my impression because that was my first visit, right? But then now, the second time I was traveling for long term, it was like maybe for 3 or 4 years I was traveling. And this time it was in the month of January. First week of January, I was traveling to the US. Now, many people whom I know, my friends, family, everyone had advised me that January is supposed to be peak winter, right? So you need to be very well prepared. You need to kind of carry a lot of woolen clothes. You need to be like carrying all the necessary precaution. People had advised me. But trust me, in my kind of excitement in like going to the US, I really did not. Maybe I took it too lightly. I did not maybe pay that much attention to what they were saying. And also because the best kind of winter in my mind was I was born and brought up in Lucknow, and I basically belong to Chennai. So where I have never seen a winter. So, like, it is hot, hotter, hottest is the weather I have seen in Chennai where I grew. I mean, that's my hometown. But then I have been in the Lucknow for kind of a few years. So, that is the kind of winter I could imagine. Maybe a Delhi winter or a Lucknow winter. That is the kind of winter that was in my mind when people were referring to winter. So, I thought, okay, I have taken woolen clothes. What they meant by woolen clothes was not something which I really tried to experiment. So I just took it. I thought I'm very well prepared. And trust me, when JFK landing at New York, I was feeling so excited when it was the time for the flight to land in New York. And I was like, but then it was time to land when there was an announcement coming from the cockpit where they were mentioning that the runway is actually wet because of snowfall. So they were hovering around the the runway, and they were saying that we might get slightly delayed because we are trying to land. I really couldn't imagine what they meant by snowfall or wet runway. I was just excited. Of course, we were delayed, but not too much. It was just a 30 minutes delay or something. And then I completed my immigration. I was just going to pick up my bag. So when you complete immigration, you feel like 75% crossed. Nice, right? Trust. Okay. Then going there to pick up my what do you call that? The check-in baggage, right? I was going there. I got all my baggage. I collected. I felt as if I've accomplished everything now. I have landed safely, finished my immigration, collected my bag, and I was not feeling cold. I was just wearing one sweater, but I was not feeling cold. I was thinking, oh, what? People told me so many things about the winter, but then I feel very comfortable right now. US is maybe not that cold. Maybe people were just exaggerating. I was thinking, all right. So I was just coming out, and there are two, three doors in the airport. JFK airport. Those of you who have been there would see, or many airports have like that. The first door opened, still very happy. Coming out. Second door is opening, slightly feeling that cold breeze kind of a thing that is hitting me right now. My kind of that enthusiasm that I was having, slightly it is coming down. I'm able to feel it. But still, I'm trying to motivate myself. Okay, okay. Now, it is not like it's not too cold. I can manage, right? Final door, it opens. I come out. Trust me, I'm freezing right now, and I've never seen a sight like that in my life where everything is white because of the snowfall. And I've never seen snow falling like that. And I'm shivering, literally shivering. And I'm getting the shock of my life. And I'm feeling so bad. I didn't listen to people who were trying to advise me. And I'm getting so scared now. I'm not able to. And the first thought in my mind, when is the next flight to India? I'm going back. I'm not going to be here. I just I was going to get a taxi. I came inside. I came inside again inside the airport. I'm standing there. I don't know what to do. But then inside my mind, something is telling me, oh my God, why did I boast to everyone that I'm going to the US now? Now, if I just come back in the return flight, what will people think about me? I'm thinking, and that thought is giving me so much of I don't know, that kind of a pressure. How will I face my friends and family? I told them that I'm going to go to the US for 3 years, 4 years. Now I'm coming back in a return flight to India. What are they going to think about me? This thought was there in my mind, okay? But we will come to it whether this is a very necessary thought. We will come to it. But then this was the thought in my mind. I was thinking, okay, let me go back. Maybe I am not made for all these things. I should go back. I cannot face this winter. I cannot be in the US. I'm going back. This is what I was thinking. Now, then, fortunately, so again, what was the kind of mindset with which I went to the US, what I wanted to achieve, what is the varied experience I wanted to gain, everything just vanished from my mind, right? Now, it is not that I didn't know that this coal and diamond story, it is not that I wanted to become a coal. I wanted to become a diamond, but at that moment, it was just the winter that was needed to just bog me down. Everything went away. So soon I accepted defeat. I wanted to come down. Now, what was the changer? game changer there. Maybe that incident I'm recalling here because it has taught me a great thing. I was fortunate enough that such a kind of a flashy inspiration came to me that way. Not every time I might be fortunate. So from next time onwards, I was better prepared for these situations. But then what was that game changer there? Trust me, I think that was the time when some international cricket tournament was going on. So even at the airport, because we have a lot of Indians there at the airport, I heard some conversation around cricket. Two people were just talking about ongoing cricket tournament. They were just talking about how well somebody played. All that conversation was going on. It was not related to any of my kind of that winter or anything there. But then somewhere, because I heard that cricketing conversation there, that cricket conversation that they were having triggered something in my mind. You know what? For me and for many of us, cricket is synonymous with Tendulkar, right? Our own Sachin Tendulkar. So, somewhere that conversation triggered an article I had read about our little master, his debut match. That is where that Mayor Khelega comes in the picture. I actually remembered that particular interview or that particular anecdote which I had read somewhere. And many of you might be aware his debut match against, I'm not sure which country it was. So I think Pakistan, I don't remember. So the debut match where he was a little boy of 15 or 16, when he went into bat, he was injured. And everyone there told him, you please go back, retire hurt. You go back because like you are terribly hurt. So go back and then we will see what can be done. Everyone advised him. But you know what? Even after being such terribly injured, he said, Main khelega. I will play. The rest is history. I don't have to tell you what happened after that. I remembered this. After remembering this, what I thought, if a 16-year-old boy, even after being hurt, is able to cope with that situation, he is able to like kind of stand and fight and take the country to victory. Am I not older than that now? Can I not face this situation? And I am not very badly wounded. It is just this winter. I'm getting a shock because I have never seen such a climate in my life before. And it was also partially my mistake where I was not better prepared for the situation. People told me this winter, you have to be prepared this way. I did not listen. Why? I was over enthusiastic, right? That moment of introspection gave me the strength not only to handle that situation. I decided, come what may, I am not returning to India before finishing my tenure here. And I will, the first thing I did after landing up at my place, going to the nearby stores and getting proper winter clothes. That is different. That's just the temporary solution to that problem. But then this is a lifetime lesson because this has taught me that whenever you forget that kind of a, you always know you want to become a diamond. But whenever you forget that and try going towards the pole, you should have some inspiring material or some inspiring thing with you ready, like a first aid kit that will bring you back on track. We will discuss more about the first aid kit as we go through the slides. So, just to give you a caution that all of us know this saying, but not every day, every time we will remember this. So, you have to take that conscious efforts to keep a first aid kit kind of an inspiring material or an inspiring photograph or an inspiring memory, inspiring quote, anything to make you come back on track whenever you actually find yourself losing that hope. I also, I was thanking my stars. I was thanking God that it was fortunate that that cricket conversation somebody was having there ignited something in me that day. But that might not happen every time. That was fortunate. But that gave me the realization that moving on, whenever I find myself taking a back step or trying to like just kind of call it quits, not able to fight the battle or something. I need to have some inspiring material which will bring me back on track. I need to be better prepared. And I was doing that introspection that day. This was my own fault where I did not prepare myself for this situation. I was too much excited about what that particular venture or that particular project is going to give me. And in the process, I had forgotten to prepare myself to face certain other situations that might actually pull me down. That introspection has taught me that not being well prepared for a situation, not trying to do a proper homework, proper research is one of the main factors of stress. And refusing to call it quits is one of the biggest attributes that we need to develop in managing stress. So, this is one of the anecdotes from my life that I wanted to give just to let you know that maybe I am improving day by day in managing stress, but then nobody will really remember all this during the time of crisis. But the one who succeeds is one who understands that such crisis is always part of life, and how good prepared are you to face that crisis, and what first aid kit do you have to pull you back into the path when that crisis is trying to eat you up. Okay? All right. With that, मैं खेलेगा, we will proceed. Okay. Now, having seen what is stress, what is eustress, what is distress, and how this eustress is actually helping you like a tailwind pushing your aircraft, but then how distress is actually pulling you down, destroying your aircraft. Having seen the signs and the symptoms of stress, and having seen like the Mac Helega story, so whether we want to become a coal or whether we want to become a diamond, really it depends upon our response to stress, right? We have seen all these things. But then, what do we need to do to effectively manage stress? Some of it we touched upon. We said that we really need to keep some kind of an inspiring material. All that we will see in detail. All that is fine. But is that the first step? The first step, remember, is always developing an awareness. Awareness is the key. And by awareness, what do we mean? That is where I spoke about the stress audit. Why is it as important as any other statutory audit? Because, as I mentioned, the energy that we are losing to stress, the damage that this stress does to our body, the extraordinary energy that the body needs for coping with the stress when it is totally mismanaged, it is very, very difficult for us to bring back that energy. Trust me, energy is our biggest asset, isn't it? It is our biggest fixed asset. And can we allow stress to be the depreciation there? Totally eroding our energy like a depreciation where the WDV becomes zero. Now, there is no energy for you to focus on the actual solution, because whatever energy the body should have used in managing that particular problem, in thinking about the solution, you would have seen. Now, okay, let me, before we even go into this building awareness, let me tell you, ask you one question. How many of us know that we all of us are very good advisors, right? We give a lot of good counsel, we give a lot of good ideas to our friends, to other people when they seem to be in trouble. You actually have experienced this when your friend is in trouble, or when someone is in trouble, your neighbor is in trouble. They come to you for counsel, they come to you for advice, and you give them extraordinary pieces of advice. You are able to really guide them beautifully in how they need to come out of their problems. You do an excellent job, and you would have seen that many of those people still remember you for your excellent piece of advice, for your excellent ideas that you gave them. But many of you wonder, right? Why is it that when it comes to me, I'm not able to get all those ideas? I'm able to assist others. I'm able to help him. I'm able to help her. But when it comes to me, my own situation in life, I am not able to find any solution to it. Why is that I fail every time I'm trying to come out of this situation in my life? I have also faced this situation. Come on, everything is out of personal experience. I've asked this question to myself. Why? Right? So all of us have experienced this, right? Why? Let's think about it. Why is it? What happens there? The difference there is when it is somebody else's problem, you are not experiencing stress, right? You are not experiencing that pressure. You are not experiencing that kind of a negative emotions out there where your entire energy, mentally, physically, emotionally, it needs to go to that particular situation. So your mind is really very active. It is able to identify. A calm mind works wonders. You would have seen this. The biggest kind of miracle in this world is a calm mind, a mind that is able to remain calm under situations, right? So because your mind is so calm, it is able to come up with that super solution that people call is a miracle, or it's a great talent or whatever. That is just a calm mind which is able to beautifully analyze all the pros and cons. It is able to see the good and the bad, the profit, the loss. It is able to see where exactly is your kind of how your journey should be. It beautifully knows how to drive, right? Imagine when you're driving a car, right? There is an obstacle. Do you actually jump out of the car because there is an obstacle? No. As skillful drivers, you know how to take the turn there. Beautifully bring your car, just push the obstacle away, take your car, go forward, right? So all of us have, we ride bikes or we drive cars. We are not jumping out of the bikes. We are not jumping out of the car when we see a stone on the road, right? None of us will do that. Then even in this journey of life, when we see an obstacle, why is it like we just want to just call it quits and come back? The beautiful destination is waiting there. The problem here is the energy that was needed to drive the vehicle has now gone in panicking about the stone. The same thing, right? So that is why when it comes to our own problems, we are not able to come up with great ideas. And the great idea, like we were called the great idea masters, but you will end up going to somebody else for suggestion when you yourself are very renowned kind of an idea, a super idea maker or something in amongst your friends. As simple as that. When it comes to your own situation, the culprit is the stress. Simple example. All of us would have heard this in school. You would have heard this kind of a simple story, right? There was a man who had three sons, and one day what happened? His house caught fire. So he came running out of the house, and he was so sad. He was stressed at his house. His entire lifetime savings, everything has gone. He was crying, my house is burning, my house is burning. He was crying, he was beating the earth like that, frustrated, all that was happening. The first son came. He said, Dad, don't worry. I already sold this house to somebody else last night. The man stopped all his panic. He stopped all his that reactions that he was giving. What changed? The house is still burning, right? So why the response changed? Because now he feels it is not his house. It has already been transferred to somebody, so he feels he is safe. So he was happily smiling. The second son comes. He says, "Oh, Dad, but I forgot. Bhaiya forgot to tell you that though we sold the house to somebody last night, we still have not taken the money." Again, he started, "Oh my God, gone, gone. Everything is gone. Lost, lost, lost." He started crying. The third son comes. He says, "No, no, Papa, you don't worry at all. That person came last night and gave me the money. I have taken all the money. We are safe." Now, again, he starts being very happy. What is the difference here? The scene is the same. The house is still burning. Ghar abhi bhi jal raha hai. Yes, the house is still burning, but it is just those kind of the what do you call this, the scenes or the situations that his sons are telling him, where he is actually imagining first time this is my house that is burning. So he is not even getting that any kind of an idea how to save anything from the house. Instead, he is just panicking. The second son comes where he realizes, okay, this is not my house anymore. He's happy. Again, when he realizes this is my house, he starts panicking. This is a kind of a symbolic story which says that when it is your problem, you are not able to, it is your house that is burning, your problem. Your mind just refuses to think because you are panicking. It is the stress that is the reason or the culprit where we are not able to solve our problems or our situations in life. We are not able to handle as well as the idea masters we are when we are tackling or giving ideas for other people's problems. So when we realize this, we also realize awareness is the first step. And that's where the stress audit. So what is a stress audit? It is not an audit where it is an audit where consciously every now and then you pause for some time, right? You pause, you try to analyze, what am I feeling right now? What are the thoughts going on in my mind right now? Audit yourself. We are auditors, and the necessity for audit can never be overemphasized, right? Whether it is your own emotions that you have to audit, your own thoughts you have to audit, or whether it is a books of accounts that you have to audit. Audit is where you will find out material misstatements. Audit is where you will find out where exactly your thoughts are actually pulling you down. It is just like an effective internal control. And effective internal control is trying to address that risk before it becomes a major misstatement. Yes or no? Not even a major misstatement, major material misstatement, right? Before stress causes a major material misstatement like a total kind of a downfall in health, total kind of shutting down of your body. We are seeing, right? People, what and all like kind of diseases, everything like these days, it is so kind of prevalent. Why? Basically, because stress is trying to lower your immunity level and it is causing too much of a damage that your body is not able to cope. Your body is trying to give you signals that, oh, Baba, I am not able to cope. Please don't. Try to manage yourself properly. But just like how a mismanaged kind of a business is going to give you loss, a mismanaged kind of a situation, mismanaged body, mismanaged kind of a lifestyle is definitely going to pull you down. It is going to give you a loss. And what is that kind of a loss? Health wise, you are experiencing a total like downfall, you are experiencing a breakdown. It's gone, right? Irreversible damages. And then what happens mentally? People around you are able to feel that you no longer are that cheerful person you used to be once. You no longer are that kind of a social person you used to be once. Where is your smile? I have not seen you smile in so many days. You've heard this? Many of your friends, maybe old friends or family members, sometimes telling us that, what happened to you? You are not the same person I once used to know. Where is your smile? What happened to you? And in fact, you are doing very well in life compared to like the earlier years. But then what happened? Why you are not the same person? We used to go and have that kind of small sandwich, or we used to have that cup of tea in that a local chai shop. That time you used to be very happy, but now like when life is so like you have been blessed in life, you're so comfortable in life, still you don't seem to be happy. What happened to you? Remember, and that is when people think that a better lifestyle or a better thing always brings sorrow. No, it is never ambitions, or it is not a better lifestyle, or it is not a better like wealthy lifestyle or something that brings sorrow. It is always the lack of stress audit, or the lack of auditing your own emotions, understanding what is really the requirement of this hour, and then working accordingly. That is actually causing the problem. The problem is not about being ambitious, it is about trying to match what is your ambition, what is your goal, and what exactly are the steps you are taking. The same thing, your ambition, your goal is to hit a boundary, but unfortunately, you are focusing on the fielders. And then you're saying that my problem is I'm over ambitious. I want to hit a boundary. Hitting a boundary is not being over ambitious, but you are just focusing on the wrong game plan there. Instead of focusing on the gaps, you are focusing on the fielder. Instead of focusing on the solution, you are focusing on something else, right? Focusing on something else is like that obstacle focusing. The example that I gave from my own life, that US winter, where I was totally shocked. I wanted to return to India. But even when I wanted to return to India, I was panicking, thinking what my family and friends will think if I come back to India, right? Was that the right thought at that moment? That's what I was telling you, that we will revisit this again in the subsequent slides. That was not the right thought, right? If at all I make that decision even to come back to India, what my family, this is just a picture we are playing in our mind. You realize that most of the stress, 99% of the stress is caused by things that do not happen. The actual problem is 1%. The exaggerated version of the movie that you're playing in your mind is 99%, right? And that is actually causing, you are playing that movie, that scary movie in your mind, and that is causing that sweat, it is causing that tears. That has not happened. That has not happened at all. Why should we scare ourselves by playing that kind of a movie in our mind? अरे यार ये मेरी picture है ना. I am the hero. I am the heroine in my movie. If at all I want to play a mental picture of myself, I will play a picture of myself which is like magnanimous, which is beautiful, marvelous. Why will I play a picture of myself, focusing myself as the villain? Tell me something. If you had crores of rupees where you want to make a movie, will you not act as the hero of the movie? Will you take a villainous role where everybody is scolding you or everybody is not liking that role, or will you not make the best role for yourself? Imagine, then why are you playing that in a mental exaggerated version? Why are you trying to play a movie which is frightening you? Why are you trying to play a movie that is pulling down your confidence? If you make a movie, you will select the best role for yourself. You will select the best costumes for yourself. You will select the best dialogues for yourself. अरे ये मेरी picture है. I will picture myself as the best kind of a character. You will take years and years maybe to write that particular characterization, how good you are, how great you are, how beautiful you are, what not. Will you not do that? When that is the case with the movie, then our own image of ourselves, which we are playing here, why should that be so kind of scary, frightening, demotivating? Why should we think about those kind of situations where, oh, what happens if this happens, that happens? You are trying to you're confusing your mind like anything, trying to give it so many alternatives when actual reality is nothing like that. Taking from my own example, I am just scared of the US winter, right? I came out, I was not expecting that. I was not prepared for it, a different story. But tell me, in this situation, what is the real problem? I was not prepared for that kind of a winter because I have never seen such a winter. On my earlier visit to the US was in a beautiful weather during the month of July, when it was just so pleasant, and I went to the Niagara Falls, which was so beautiful. So I'm still carrying that kind of an impression in my mind, which was totally different when I went in January because of the season change, right? So that is causing that shock in me, where I got so scared. I said, I don't want to be here, I'm going back to India. This is the situation right now. But see what I'm doing. I am playing a kind of a movie in my mind, imagining I'm going and telling all my people, my family and friends. I'm telling them that I took the return flight, I've come back to India. I am imagining they are laughing at me that I went like with great ambitions and now I'm coming back. All this is causing unnecessary stress. Are you seeing that? I am scared of the US winter. Instead of allowing my mind to think what could be the alternative, this is just a simple problem. You can just go right away near the airport. You can buy all woolen clothes. You can just get dressed in layers. You can just allow your mind to calm for some time. Maybe go have a good sleep. Wake up tomorrow morning. See what you can do. This was the right solution I should have told myself. Instead, I started imagining all these bhayanak things in my mind, and I'm feeling so bad. I'm crying. I'm sweating. Why? Why should I play all this movie? If at all I want to play the movie in my mind, I should have played the movie where I'm very bravely like walking out of the airport. I'm going and getting a coat for myself. I'm wearing all those woolen clothes. 4 years, 3 years, successfully completing my project. I'm going back home. Everybody is giving me a great applause, welcoming me at the airport. Why not play this movie in my mind? Why? Because we never trained our mind. Unfortunately, the mind will only do what you give it the training for, right? You trained it always to play all those scary scenes in your mind. Unnecessarily, you are torturing it like anything, just like how when you see a ghost movie or a horror movie, you think that the ghost is just near you, whether it is on the screen and it is just a movie. Similarly, you are giving it all the kind of negative situations, what the worst could happen, making it cry, making it sweat, and then saying that, oh no, I couldn't challenge this, face this challenge because I was over ambitious. Baba, where is your, when did you even think about the solution? When did you even give the energy to the brain that was needed for thinking about the solution? This is a simple example. Sometimes I feel I'm very fortunate that that one small incident really taught me this kind of maybe certain situations. Now, see, I'm seeing the blessing now. Now, once you come out of that situation, you will know that that situation came as a blessing in your life to give you some lesson. If not for that situation, I would have not introspected. I would have never been better prepared, and I would have never thought about what are the frightful movies I'm playing in my mind, right? So, all these situations coming as a blessing. So, why I'm trying to say this is awareness is always trying to pause and see what is happening here. What is the movie you are playing right now? And it is your head, your movie. Press the stop. That's it. Press the stop button. I don't want this movie to be played. It is my life. I am going to be the hero. I'm going to be the heroine in this movie. I will not waste my energy. I will not waste my time thinking about unnecessary things where if I am producing and directing the movie, why should I take the villain role? I will take the best of roles. Always remember that. So that is where the stress audit comes. A mismanaged, like kind of a lifestyle is going to be as dangerous or even more dangerous as a mismanaged business. So take that effective internal control. Write your own COSO framework. What is the framework you want? It is your life. Write it. Have a proper framework. That stress audit framework. We will come to it as we go to the person action plan, but I'm just giving you an idea why this internal control framework in your own stress management, like kind of a life, is important for you because here you have to audit what is happening. What is that exaggerated version that you are playing? Why is it that stress is being overstated? Come on, see that, see the provisions. What are the provisions you are making for stress, and whether it is overstated, whether you have to write back. Look at all that. And this is easy for us, right? We are auditors. We know what is overstatement. We know what is depreciation. We know everything. We know what is internal control. We know everything, right? It is not that these concepts are new for us. So why not apply it in our own life? That is the key, right? So awareness, pausing. All right. Now we will go ahead. Now, just giving you one more example. Awareness and pausing. Why is that pausing is very important? Rocking horse movement. All of us have heard of it. That bachpan mein lakdi pe kaati, kaati pe ghoda. We have done that. That rocking horse. We have a wooden horse where it keeps rocking. All of us have played on that rocking horse. As a kid, I used to love playing on that rocking horse, you know. I used to feel I'm the queen. I'm Rani Lakshmi Bhai. I used to like kind of talk to my cousins, my friends like that. I am just conquering. I am Jhansi ki Rani. I am going on that horse. I'm going here, going there. But tell me, that rocking horse, has it taken me to Jhansi? Has it even taken me 1 inch further? It has not even taken me out of my home. Wherever that rocking horse was placed, I kept rocking on that horse to and fro, imagining in my mind that I'm going to Jhansi, I'm going here, going there. That rocking horse, has it really taken me anywhere? Leave alone Jhansi, leave alone around the world. It has not even moved 1 inch. Right? Remember, working without awareness is same like a rocking horse movement. Why is it being compared to rocking horse movement? It will give you the feeling, I'm going to Jhansi, I'm going to America, I'm going to London, going to Paris, going to Switzerland. But the reality, it is just maintaining you in the same place. Not even 1 inch it has progressed. Correct? The same thing will happen. If we are going to work without the stress audit, if we are going to work without pausing for some time, analyzing what is happening inside, analyzing how our response to each situation is, then we are as good as riding on a rocking horse. While we think that we are sitting on a beautiful kind of what do you call that chetak, that the wonderful horse, right? Chetak is called that wonderful horse of, I think, some Maharaja Rana Pratap or something, who used to gallop at the speed of the wind. We think we are riding Chetak, but what we are riding is a rocking horse. And again, what happens? We are not aware that we are riding the rocking horse. Why? Because we have not paused. We think that, oh, yes, I am actually working so hard. We have heard this, right? We are working so hard. We are doing everything under the sun, but still, I don't know why nothing is really happening. And that is why that's one of the causes of the stress. Have you seen? When we are not getting the results that we want, we have an objective, we have a goal, we want that to happen, but we find ourselves working, but then those results, the progress is not happening. That is also the major causes of stress. Why does that happen? Because we are not working in the right direction. We are not pausing to see whether our goals and our actions are properly aligned, like the story of the boundary, the fielder, and the gap. We are not pausing. We are not pausing to do that stress audit. If the picture that we are playing here inside is the horror, is like the horror movie, the magnified version of the problem, we have not paused. We did not pause. And we keep going, thinking that action is really the key to success. While action is key to success, it is action that is directed in the proper way that is the key to success. If I am driving in the wrong direction, or if I'm not even driving and I'm doing the rocking horse movement, will that be a key to the success? No. So we have to pause to see if that direction that I'm taking is right, whether my thoughts, my feelings, my response, everything needs an audit, right? It is not just business. It is very, very important for us to understand that it is not this rocking horse movement that is going to give us success. So, always awareness. And how does awareness come? You have to pause. It cannot keep going, running, and then not understanding what is happening. That way, things don't work. We will see this more as to what that pausing means. But then again, I've just put a good quote here, because the action needs to be purposeful, isn't it? So that's why I have put this: rocking back and forth won't take you far. Move with purpose and raise the bar. Step with intention, let your actions guide, watch your stress and worries subside. Right? All right. Now, proceeding further, all right. Now, having had this extensive background, why did we discuss this extensive background? Because if we don't discuss how important it is for us to understand these symptoms, these signs, and the extent of damage that it is causing, we will not be able to appreciate what are the actions that we need to take to fix this, right? Now, let's see this. Actions to effectively manage stress building resilience and coping skills, right? Now, whenever there is a problem, there are two ways, right? There is always a short term fix. Immediately to save yourself, what you need to do, and long term, from a preventive basis, what you need to do. Correct? So, a first aid, you are not well. It's always like this. When you're not well, you go to a doctor. He will give you certain medications or an injection to temporarily relieve you from the pain. But that injection or the pain reliever is not a long term fix. You have to heal yourself. Correct? So, the same way, the approach, what we are going to see, the resilience and the coping skills, we will divide it into two parts. The first part, it's the first aid kit. You have to save yourself now. When you are experiencing stress at this very moment, what do you need to do to save yourself instantly? That is the first aid kit. Then we will see how you need to build the stress relief fund. And what is that stress relief fund? Long term fix. What do you really need to do to be better prepared? Have a fund so that in case of an emergency, you don't deplete your capital, right? You have to see that. So, how do you build that fund? That is the next step. Now, let us see this first aid kit first. Now, this very moment, you are experiencing stress. And how do you know you're experiencing stress? Of course, we spoke about it. You have to pause, you have to analyze how are you feeling at this moment. And we also discussed some of the signs of stress. We discussed about the physical signs where you're sweating a lot, or sometimes people cry. They cry when they are experiencing stress. You have tears, you are sweating, or you are experiencing like kind of shivering or those kind of physical symptoms. Emotional symptoms like anxiety, low motivational levels, behavioral symptoms. You don't want to work as a team. You just want to withdraw. You want to call it quits. Correct? These are some of the signs of stress you are experiencing. And sometimes you even feel your heart beating very fast, increase in blood pressure and all that. You feel that. So you know that you are under stress. Now, what do you know that? What do you do now? Because unless you calm down, you are not going to understand what to do in that situation. And as we said, stress is a rocking horse movement. It is a useless movement that is not going to land you anywhere. What do you do? Now, if you see the first thing, a deep inhalation and a long exhalation calms the mind instantly. Now, we would have heard many people say this, right? And just to be very honest, I'm a certified level 2 yoga coach as well. So I understand how important this is. If you know pranayama, if you are a regular practitioner of pranayama, you can always do a quick pranayama that time, but not required. You don't have to be a yoga practitioner. You don't have to be a pranayama practitioner for following this. See, I'll show you. Very simple. You can just place your hand, one hand at the chest, one hand in the stomach. Just close your eyes. Isn't it so simple? You don't have to, you know how to breathe, right? And why are we placing our hands on the chest and one hand on the abdomen or the stomach? Because when you take a deep inhalation, you will feel the expansion in your chest. You will feel the expansion in your abdomen. And when you exhale a long exhalation, you will feel the contraction of your chest. You will feel the contraction in your abdomen. That will give you a kind of a reassurance. All is well in my wonderful world. All is well, right? We have heard some these kind of dialogues in some movies, but then those are just not like maybe it sounded very comical when we saw those things in movies, but it really is a very it's not a comical thing. It's really something which has got that healing effect. Just keep your hands, give yourself that reassurance. You deserve all your love and encouragement first. Have you seen the first time, again coming back to my own like real life example, my first flight travel, it was a domestic travel. I think I traveled from Chennai to Delhi, and I was very excited about my first flight travel, right? Because I've never been, I think I was in school or maybe college, I don't remember, but then I was a student. So I was very excited about my first flight travel. And when you first time you travel in the flight, you want to pay attention to each and everything that is happening out there. Now when we go, we really don't even, I find myself sleeping in the flight. I don't even want to look at the scenery during landing or like a takeoff or what the air attendants are saying. You don't mind because it's nth time that you're traveling, right? But the first time when you're traveling, each and everything you pay attention, including what the attendants actually they demonstrate a lot of things right before the takeoff. They give you that safety instructions, they tell you everything. I was so curious, I wanted to listen to each and every word. So you remember one thing that has stayed with me: always wear your own oxygen mask before you are there to help others, right? I used to always wonder how is that they're saying that. Like usually you should tell that please help others when you see them in distress. Please help others when you see that they are in trouble, right? That's how it works, right? Why are they saying wear your own oxygen mask before helping others? As a student, I used to think maybe that's not the very right way. You should always help others. But then, as you grow up, you realize what is the importance and the greatness in that sentence. Array, unless I have oxygen, how will I breathe? When I am dead, how will I go and help others? Same thing, right? If you are under stress and you are going to help your team or you are going to help your family, you are going to help your friends, is it really going to work? First of all, you are under stress. You are not going to get the right ideas. You are going to spoil and damage your own work as well and the other person's like time and work as well. So remember, you deserve your love first. You deserve your courage first. Give that reassurance to yourself. Take that deep inhalation and exhalation. Above all, this is also a reassurance that, yes, I am here for you. Just like how if your friend is in distress or someone whom you love a lot, they are under some trouble, they are under stress, what will you do? Will you not go to them and tell them, don't worry at all, my dear, I am there for you? Whatever is there, I am there. I will support you. If you can do that for others, why are you not doing that to yourself? This is what is meant by wearing your own oxygen mask. It sounds very simple when it is a real oxygen mask, right? When it is on the flight, then the flight attendant is giving you that instruction: wear your own oxygen mask. It is a physical oxygen mask, so it sounds very simple. Oh, yes, I will wear my own oxygen mask before I help others. All of us are aware of this kind of these words. We are aware. We have heard it n number of times on the flight. But why is it that when a stressful situation comes to us in our real life, why are we not wearing our oxygen mask? Why are you not talking to yourself lovingly? Why are you not reassuring yourself? Touch your heart, touch your abdomen, reassure yourself. I am there for you, my dear. I am there for you. Just like how you will actually tell your friend, your loving family, or anybody whom you love, you will give them that reassurance. This has a double role. One, that deep inhalation and exhalation is increasing the oxygen supply. Remember what we saw there: cortisol increases the energy. So what happens when energy is increased? Too much of oxygen is consumed, right? So you feel so tired, your oxygen resources have depleted. So deep inhalation is going to give you that oxygen reserve. That is one. The next, you are touching yourself, giving that reassurance. I am there for you, my friend. I am your best friend. I am here for you. All is well in my wonderful world, right? You are giving you that reassurance. Your mind, therefore, will calm down instantly. First, very important is that deep inhalation and exhalation. If you're a regular practitioner of pranayama or breathing exercises, you can do that. Next, micro breaks. Why is it so important? Now, taking a quick walk. Now, what I have put there: micro breaks, taking a quick walk, a quick shower, power nap, if possible. If that situation permits you to take a power nap of 10-15 minutes, power nap is usually a nap that is taken for 10 to 20 minutes max. It is not a sleep, it is a short sleep, right? So, if the situation permits you, you could take a power nap. Now, why is it so important, these micro breaks? I am reminded of a very famous or a kind of a anecdote that a famous psychiatrist, a psychologist once actually shared. He was saying that most people, they say that they come up with innovative ideas. They come up with wonderful ideas when they are actually in the shower or when they are actually going for walks, especially a nature walk, or sometimes during their afternoon nap, like after lunch when they go and sleep for that 10, 15 minutes or 20 minutes, that power nap. Most of the innovative ideas come to people during these three situations: a quick shower, or a shower, a walk in the nature, or the power nap. You know why? Most of our time is usually spent in front of the screen, be it mobile, be it a laptop, or be it like television, whatever it is. These days, we end up spending most of our time like that. And also, most of our time is indoors. So, we really have lost that contact with nature, right? Nature by itself is a power. People say that, right? When you stand in the sun for some time, you feel powerful because it is a source of energy. Nature is a source of energy. And what do you do when you take a shower? You are drawing that power from water, and you are depriving yourself from that screen time. And screen time is something which can really make you tiring. That break is giving you the time necessary for your brain to process the information. That sleep is giving you the time to your brain to process that information. So this is really not something magical or miraculous. It is simple logic. Nature has got power, whether it be the sun, water, plants. They've got some kind of energy that they keep radiating, and that is a very positive energy. And in fact, apart from energy, we also know that plants give out oxygen. It is the same concept. You go for a nature walk, the same thing what the deep inhalation gave you, the walk in nature is also giving you. And during the shower time, you feel so relaxed because your stress is washed out. And as I said earlier, the calm mind is capable of achieving miraculous results. And that break is what was needed for the mind to process that information. You kept it so kind of pressed with everything, it was not even able to breathe. But now you gave that break, it tells you what to do. So that is why micro breaks, very important, right? Third one, I already said that. Talk to yourself with love and confidence. Always remember that you are the first person in your priority list. If I ask you to write a priority list or a list of people whom you love, tell me whom will you write? You will start with your family, friends, children, parents. How many of us write our name on the list of people whom we love, list of people whom we care for, or list of people who love us? If I ask you to write that list, will you write your name there? Will you write your name as the first name there? Not just writing your name, write your name first there. Trust me, friends, caring for yourself, loving yourself is not selfishness. You can never pour from an empty cup. If I ask you, give me 1,000 rupees, will you be able to lend me that money if you yourself were bankrupt? No, right? Then how is it that you are going to love somebody, you are going to care for somebody when you yourself are bankrupt of that love and care? You don't love yourself, you don't take care of yourself. Then how is that you are saying that you are going to take care of your friends, your family, your parents, your children? Remember, it is not selfishness. If you have to take care of them, first take care of yourself. So, talking to yourself with love and confidence is the need of the hour when you are so stressed out. And as I said, talk to yourself as if you are talking to your best friend. And if time permits, I would also say, if you have a small mirror, you know what I do? My practice after I have I told you, right? I will tell you more about what are those inspirational material or first aid kits that I use after that Mac Helega incident at the US airport. You know what I do? I keep a small mirror, a small pocket size mirror in my purse whenever I feel stressed out, or sometimes in my purse, or if I have proximity to a washroom which has a mirror, or if I'm at home, I use a full sized mirror also. Full sized mirror are more effective. I stand in front of a mirror and I talk to myself in front of the mirror as if I'm consoling or I'm giving confidence to my best friend or to somebody whom I love so much. If they were in this situation, what will I tell to them? How will I encourage them? How will I motivate them? All those words I will pour in. I will look into my eyes in the mirror and I will talk to myself. I will try to motivate myself. I will try to get that confidence to face the situation. Best remedy, right? Carrying a small mirror, and you don't even need a mirror these days. You have it in your phone. You have that on your phone. You can just open the mirror or you can open the camera, look at yourself and talk to yourself. First aid kit, that is. Carrying inspirational quotes, inspirational reading material is also an option. But this is miraculous. Whenever you forget all the things that you have dreamt about, all those things that you have been thinking about, all those things where you wanted to become a diamond, and suddenly you are realizing you are turning into a coal. You wanted to transform into a diamond, but then suddenly one situation and you are just lost track and you're going into the dust path. This is the diamond path, this is the dust path. I was walking like this, suddenly a small obstacle came and I shifted like this and I started taking this path, right? Talking in the mirror will bring you back here. Looking at the mirror, talk to yourself, it will bring you back on track, right? So talking to yourself with love and confidence. Second, the next one, handy motivational quotes or reading materials. I have always found this very effective. So that is why I have put it there. And these days, it is very easy. You don't even have to carry your motivational quotes or reading material. You could actually open your Google, open your phone. You can just, whoever is your favorite self help author, right? You could actually, open you could quotes by, you can put, you will get the motivational quotes. I am reminded of a very interesting anecdote here as well. I actually have seen when I used to be in my college days or school days. I don't remember. I think college. Yes, college. I used to have a teacher, and when we actually have seen him when we go to the staff room, like every teacher, they have a separate table, they have a separate workspace in the staff room, right? He used to have two drawers, right? And at the end of the day, when we are packing, like at the end of the day when we are packing our bags and we are getting ready to go home, sometimes we go to the staff room just to inform something to the teachers and all that. We would always see that he will actually, the two drawers, he will take a certain bunch of papers, he will take out small chits. He will take out those bunch of papers, he will count something, he will put it, he will write something down, then he will place everything back in another drawer and he will go. We have seen this once. We asked him, sir, what exactly are you doing? You are counting some chits, what you are doing? You know what he said? He has written, and remember, he is a commerce teacher. So he has written debit in a number of chits, maybe some 25 or 50 chits. Debit, 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 debit. Another set of chits, credit, 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 credit. Okay. And we all know the golden rules of accountancy, debit and credit. Without debit and credit, nothing works in accountancy. Maybe because he's a commerce teacher, accountancy teacher. I don't know what inspired him to do this. So, what he does is, whenever there is a stressful situation in the day, during the day, that he has successfully handled, he will give himself a credit. So all those chits he will keep at one place. two draws. One is the credit draw, one is the debit draw. So, whenever he has managed any situation very successfully by motivating himself or by staying calm and trying to come up with the solution without that panicky stuff, he will pick up like the credit chit and he will put one chit on that draw. He is crediting himself. Vice versa with the debit chit. So, whenever he has collapsed, he has not been able to successfully handle, he has like failed to handle the situation well, he used to put one debit chit there. End of the day, he will take out his credit chits. He will see how many credit chits are there, how many debit chits are there. That is actually giving him an idea how many situations that day he handled successfully and how many situations he did not or he still needs improvement. Remember, I did not say he failed. Those situations where he did need improvement. Why am I not using the term failure? Because initially your debit might be more than the credit. That's okay. And that is the first thing. Like when we are trying to be aware of the situation, when awareness comes in, that is when guilt also comes. The awareness has a very bad partner, personal experience I'm talking. Awareness has got a very bad partner in itself. You know what? Guilt. As long as you are not even counting your mistakes, you are just working mechanically without any awareness, without any thoughts, without any pause, everything is good. But once you start tracking, once you start becoming aware, you realize that your debits are more than your credits. And that is where guilt sets in. Oh my God, what is this? I am so bad, right? Guilt sets in, demotivation sets in. But remember, that is what we should not be doing. Because all of us, when we started learning to ride the cycle, how many of us rode the cycle very successfully in the first attempt? No, not at all. I'm just simply saying, if somebody is saying, I rode the cycle beautifully the first attempt, the cycle came, I sat, I just was riding like the great Maharajas. Can somebody say that? The period when we started learning to ride our bicycles, our knees, our elbows always used to be scratched, always used to be wounded. How many times we fell down? But because we fell down, did we stop learning to ride the cycle? Falling down is always required before perfection. And if somebody is so afraid of making mistakes, of being not able to kind of cross that phase, then perfection never comes. Nobody gets the perfect shot the first time they start playing cricket. Nobody gets the perfect dish for the first time they start cooking. We are able to accept all these things in the usual physical activities that we are doing, right? This is not something new I'm telling you. All of you know this. All of you know that the first time when you start learning a new thing, you start cooking, you start learning cycles, start playing cricket. All of you know that you're not going to learn it the first day. You are mentally prepared for it when you go to that coaching class or to go to learn that. Unfortunately, while this awareness is there for a physical activity like playing cricket or learning cooking or riding a cycle, it is not there for activities that are not so physical, like effective stress management. What happens? Many people start doing it effectively. They start following everything effectively. They keep a track. They want to become very aware. They start noting down everything they do. But why is it they quit? You know why? Because that shows them who they are. Sometimes what happens is, at a young age, when you used to get a hurt on the face or you get a small pimple on the face, you don't want to look at the mirror because the mirror is showing your flaws, correct? When you get hurt here or you get a small pimple, you avoid looking at the mirror till the time the wound heals or till the time the pimple goes away. Why? Because the mirror is showing your flaws. You don't want to look at your flaws. You don't want to look at your mistakes. You want to look at the beautiful face. But the problem is, my friends, unless you take care of those flaws, the beautiful face will not come. You avoid looking at this pimple here, thinking that it is your flaw. It will not heal on its own, right? The wound will not heal on its own. Unless you look at the mirror, you will not know how deep the wound is. You will not get the intention to go to the doctor. You will not get the intention to apply the medicine. You will not heal yourself. How will you get a beautiful face if you don't look at your flaws right now? Same thing with stress management or anything for that matter. If you don't look at your debits, you will never reach a stage where your credit is actually exceeding your debit. That stage will never come. Most people give up because they see that time and again the debit chits is actually exceeding the credit chits. But keep learning from the mistakes with persistence, perseverance, keep doing it. The day will come when maybe there are no debit chits, only credit chits are there. But till that time, patience is needed. That is what uh, the reading material, motivational quotes is fine. But then next slide, maybe we will see where we are saying that be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself and remember to motivate yourself. We will see that very soon in the next slide. I'm giving you that introduction here itself because there again, we will see few more examples. So, motivational quotes, reading material, debit chits, credit chits you can carry. But remember, let that not be the source of your demotivation or the source of your disappointments. You have to also ensure you have the perseverance and persistence to keep trying till the perfection is attained. Next, after you have done all these things, you have to study and analyze the situation. Remember, going to study and analyzing the situation when you are in total stress is not going to help you. That is why first you need to do all these steps. Then, when your mind is now calm, study and analyze the situation that is triggering the stress. Then effectively try eliminating the cause of the stress. Whatever it is, it could be the environment that is causing the stress, or it could be the exposure to something or to somebody who is talking negatively. Try to minimize or try to like kind of eliminate the cause of the stress. And sometimes it could also be maybe the plan needs to be revisited. Maybe it is too much of a unrealistic kind of a plan. That also needs to be revisited. Everything you can do, but first, following all these steps, start doing these things. Remember, take things one at a time. Too many things, again, is going to cause a lot of confusion. Take things one at a time, one by one, we can eliminate. Always remember, as soon as I switch on the car engine, I switch on my headlights. Can I see my destination? In order to see the destination, you have to keep driving. It is okay if you take a wrong right or a wrong left, right? You can always take a U-turn and come back. Remember, the most important thing is to keep driving. You must not stop. And that is what is it, that perseverance, that is what is that motivation. It's okay, I'll take a U-turn. What if I go on a wrong road? It is not the end of the world. But at least I was courageous enough to keep driving. If you are going to stop in the middle, your destination is never going to come. But if even if I take a wrong route, if I keep driving, I'm sure my destination is going to come one day. Though it might be delayed by a few days or maybe a few hours, that is still okay, right? But still, I am on track. So these are some of the quick fix, right? Now let's see what is this reserve fund. Now you are experiencing stress at this very moment, and you have tried all those concepts that we discussed in the previous slide, right? It was just like a pain reliever for you. But remember, pain relievers are just not enough for you to heal yourself. And you cannot have the luxury of taking pain relievers every time you have the pain. Pain relievers or painkillers are only meant maybe once, twice, thrice when you did not anticipate something, you did not prepare well for something, and at that moment, unexpectedly, you had a pain. It's okay. Once or twice, you can take a painkiller, a pain reliever. But a pain reliever by itself is not the solution. You cannot be unprepared every time and say that I will take a pain reliever. Same example. I went to the US. I was not prepared properly. I did not do my homework. I did not do my research properly. I did not do my homework. Maybe it was over excitement at that point. I was younger and I didn't have the maturity to think maybe that US, that kind of excitement was there. Maybe I did not think too much about it. All things are there. I didn't anticipate what was ahead of me, right? Unanticipatedly I landed in a stress situation. So that case, it's just like a pain reliever where all these exercises are going to help me. But remember, if I have not learned from that particular situation, and next time also I am like in a different situation, also I am not doing my research properly, I am not trying to understand what is expected out of me in that situation, and I land up like I'm caught unawares in that situation, again experiencing a stress there. Again, I'm trying to take a painkiller. Remember, it is not going to work that way. These are only the ones that we saw in the previous slide. While they are great ways to manage stress, remember, they are only quick fixes, like a first aid. You cannot heal your life. You cannot heal your disease by just performing first aid. You need to actually do something to avoid the disease. Heal yourself, right? So the stress reserve fund is where you are building that reserve fund so that your capital, your health, what is capital here? Your capital shouldn't be eroded. What is that capital? It is your physical health. It is your mental balance. It is your emotional health, right? It is your happiness. It shouldn't be eroded. We need to build that stress reserve fund. For that, what we need to do. So this is the long term goal now. Let us look at it. Building that resilience and coping skills as a reserve fund. What are we going to do? Very important. Realistic expectations. Same example. I did not do my homework. I did not know what I need to expect, right? I just went like that. I thought like just going there itself is enough. I was not doing my research properly. I was not prepared. And I had people who were advising me about how the winter is going to be. Still, I did not pay much attention because I was over enthusiastic. I did not listen and I did not do my homework. I should have gone and I should have seen what is the temperature. The day I was traveling, I should have Googled, I should have seen how the temperature there looks like. Weather report, I should have checked. Nothing I did. I should have properly purchased woolen clothes. Nothing I did. Right? First of all, my expectations were not realistic. I did not know, I didn't know what to expect. And I did not set realistic expectations also, right? Sometimes what happens is like we need to talk. Of course, this was a very, very primary example that I gave. But in work scenarios, in work situations, we have to talk to our stakeholders. We have to talk to our stakeholders to understand what is the expectation out of that project. What do they expect out of us and what we expect from them, right? Agree on the timelines, especially when it is something which involves a deadline, where the deadline is definitely not something which is going to be slided or it is a statutory deadline, filing deadline. We really don't have much of a luxury of a time there, where if it goes wrong, okay, I will actually try to make it up, I will correct my errors. No, you don't have that error luxury, right, to correct that error. So what do we do there? Setting the realistic expectations is very important out there. And how do you do that? You have to sit down upfront. Remember, planning, prevention is always better than cure. Spending that time upfront is actually not an expense, it is like an investment. You are not spending time, you are investing on time because upfront, sitting with people out there, discussing the expectations of the team, expectations of the stakeholders, our expectations out of them, this is going to be the game changer. We spoke about the game changer earlier, right? Now, really coming to work life scenarios here. All this while, we were only giving examples of generally in life how stress, but then work related, wherever there is a deadline that is non negotiable. Setting realistic expectations is the game changer. That is the exact difference between the winner and the loser. And remember, a goal setting has to be very dynamic. You have to keep revisiting the goals every now and then to make up for the changing situations out there. Never is a goal setting something where only in the planning stage a goal is set, expectations are set, then you just close the book and go ahead. Never. Revisit your goals every day. Talk, have a status meeting every day. Talk to them, understand how you need to change, how you need to revise your goals, right? Very important. Time management and prioritization. Again, this can never be overemphasized. Remember, we need to learn how to say no with a smile, how to say no diplomatically, because we cannot do everything under the sun. And once we know what is our goal, what is our priorities, we need to ensure that our actions, our game plan also goes consistent with the goal that we have. We cannot be doing tasks where the time is being leaked on non value added activities, right? For that, we need to understand our priority and learn to say no for those things that are not meant for us, meaning those things that are not going to lead us to our goal. And breaking the task to small milestones so that you can keep track of the status, right? Next one, continuous learning and upgrade. The greatest stress reliever, greatest way to manage stress is continuous learning and upgrade. My own example, I used to be so scared of working on technology related tools. But trust me, after I attended the artificial intelligence course at the ICAI, the AI in ICAI level 1 certification, I'm so excited about working in artificial intelligence. I'm so happy. Now it is a eustress for me, not a distress. Why? What changed? The continuous learning and upgrade. As long as you don't know something, you are always, remember, you're always afraid of the dark. Switch on the light. Fear will go away, right? So, something that is unknown always causes stress. That is why continuous learning and upgrade is always important. Try to see how you can keep learning, upgrading your skills. Skill upgrade gives you the confidence. And I've experienced this personally, as I said, with the artificial intelligence course at the ICI. So I'm so excited right now. I like so much working on artificial intelligence. It has become my motivation now. What used to be a stress now has become a motivation. I am trying to explore what are the new ways, what are the new tools I can use, how I can enhance my work with artificial intelligence. And I feel I'm laughing at my previous self, which used to be so scared of these artificial intelligence and tools. Oh my God, was I so scared and so kind of apprehensive about these tools? They are really making my life magical, making my job so easy. I feel I'm feeling motivated right now by that. What changed? Learning, upgradation, right? Mentorship and networking. That is the lighthouse. Remember, always have a mentor, always have that friend who can be your kind of the person with whom you can discuss certain things when you are really in need. That can never be overemphasized. That has the lighthouse effect. It throws the light on certain things where you are badly in need of it, right? And celebrating small wins. As I said, now I am giving myself a pat on the back whenever I'm exploring new artificial intelligence or new tools and techniques. I say, wow, wonderful. I'm really proud of you. I say that to myself. Why? You deserve that. Come on, do that to yourself. You will feel happy. The next one. This we already discussed, but I've just put it there. Reflect on your response to situations through a journal, to a tracker. Write down your responses so that you can keep learning. See, unless you record it, you might not remember. You might remember, but you might not remember the complete thing. Or after a few days, a few months, few years, you will not even know how you responded. And the biggest of the advantage of this is re-looking at that will give you an idea of how far you have come, the progress you have made, right? 2 years back, this was how I was responding to all situations. Today, this is how I'm responding. Look at my progress. So, again, there you will not find yourself being demotivated. You will know that I have made so much progress. But remember, if you had not written this down, will you know the progress you made? Will you remember what you did 2 years back? Will you even remember the stressful situations every day that you faced? Will you remember how you responded? No, you might not. So, journaling and tracking, two advantages. One, writing down relieves you of the baggage that you're carrying here, right? You feel relieved when you write down. One, next, it tracks your progress. You know what you were doing 2 years before, you know what you're doing now. And then this can never be overemphasized. Balancing your work and well being, taking good care of yourself. As I said, you deserve your love, you deserve your care. And how do you do it? Good nutrition, exercise, relaxation, good sleep. Don't deprive yourself of sleep. I have often seen that whenever we have a situation where we are unable to find a solution, when you sleep over it, next morning, many times you find the solution because a calm mind, a rested mind is capable of finding answers. Don't deprive of yourself of sleep either by worrying about the problem or like kind of playing those terrorsome pictures about it or scrolling on your screen. Have a routine, have a proper bedtime, proper wake up time. All these things can never be re-emphasized. The basic thing we are taught as soon as we go to school is early to bed, early to rise, makes you healthy, wealthy, and wise. Let's just go back to basics. Let's remember that. Now, having seen all that, coming to the last part of it, which is building the personal action plan. Remember, how much ever like we talk about all these first aid kits, the stress reserve fund, you have to cut your coat according to your size. There is no one size coat that fits everyone. You have to do your personal homework. You have to do that personal research to understand how much, what extent, what are the techniques that you need to do, right? So these are some of the pointers. Remember, feel free to modify this according to your situation and kind of maintain this personal action plan. I have just come up with some guidelines for you as starting points. Once you make the progress, you can always make modifications. Feel free, it's your life, your picture. Play the hero, do the best for yourself. My idea would be to start with any three stress triggers at present, and those three stress triggers, maybe make it a mix. I wouldn't suggest taking all the three either from work or from personal or from, let it be one from work, one from personal, and one from any other area where you want to really work at. Identify the three stress triggers at present. Do that pausing, do that reflection to identify that three stress triggers at present. Then choose any three coping tools and techniques from what we have learned today. So, first, I would suggest when you say these three coping tools, choose two from a quick fix first. See whether you are able to give yourself that first aid, whether the first aid is working, the painkiller is relieving the pain. Check on that. Or maybe use even three quick fixes. See if the painkiller is having an effect. And once the pain is gone, then start writing three coping tools from a long term perspective on how you will plan, right? Then put these techniques into practice. Whatever techniques you want to do, whether it is quick fix or it is long term, putting it into practice, you really have to consciously like take efforts because nothing is learned the first day. Nothing succeeds on the first day. As I said, riding the cycle example, it's okay if there is a kind of a fall. No one learned to ride the cycle on the first day. So it's okay. Keep motivating yourself. That's okay if, like, even after practicing some of these techniques, you find that you are not able to the kind of response that you wanted, maybe it is not coming, it is still okay. You can still keep making progress by keep trying, right? But with mindfulness and awareness, the only difference is when you practice everything and you have a proper action plan, you are able to track do the gap analysis. It is not that a person with standards or a person with a proper standards set for himself will never do mistakes. But the difference between a person who has no standards and a person who has standards is that the person with standard has a threshold or a kind of a expectation set with which he can compare his actuals. He can do the gap analysis, but this person is totally clueless, directionless. So, do that gap analysis with the expectation set, with the mindfulness and awareness, the key factors, right? And as I said, keep a tracker, keep a journal, quick records of your experiences so that you yourself will feel good when you track your progress. Then, if possible, identify that one accountability partner, a friend, a parent, a mentor, spouse, coach, who can work with you on the above journey, who can give you feedback, who is able to spend some time with you every day, who is able to give you some feedback and maybe warn you when you are just trying to deviate from that expected track, right? And again, every month, keep tracking your progress. And just allot the last Saturday of every month. I will keep looking at my journal. I will look at my journal. I will see what I have done. Every last Saturday of the month or every last Sunday of the month, I will invest time on myself. The biggest investment on in this planet is investing on yourself. Don't be losing on that. And last but not the least, as I said, be kind to yourself, motivate yourself, love yourself, hug yourself like this. Feel good about yourself, hug yourself. Say to yourself that I love you, my dear. I am there for you. You are going to win. You definitely are going to win. Hug yourself like this, motivate yourself. That is all is always needed on this path, right? And at last, coming to the concluding slides, I want to say that let stress never accumulate like those unposted or unreconciling entries. We all have seen, right? How these unreconciled entries, the unposted or unreconciling entries cause a big trouble and we are not even able to conclude the audit, right? Let stress not be that headache for us. Reconcile it daily. Daily before you sleep, spend some time with yourself, reconcile everything so that there is a beautiful kind of a journey that is enjoyed in this life, right? Life is a journey. We have to enjoy this journey. Why allow the stress to come in between and be an unreconciled entry that is not allowing our life's balance sheet to be balanced? You will always remember and also acknowledge that a balanced mind is as important as a balanced balance sheet. Is it not so? It is capable of causing miracles, magic, right? Experience the magic. Just like how you see this balance sheet balanced, this balance that is balanced, balance your life in your hands. All right? All the very best to you. Thank you so much and hope you enjoyed the session.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ma'am, first of all, I would like to appreciate the energy that you are having, that since last 2 hours you are continuously speaking and without any breaks, without any help of any other thing. Ma'am, it's really a salute to your energy for 2 hours. You are so unstoppable.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Ma'am, whatever you have explained regarding the stress, it is really the basics ABC that you have stressed upon. And, whenever the chartered accountant who is having so much of stress, like a person who is a chartered accountant or say his team members, it's like, one of our job is to consult other people. We have to consult people on various topics and basically we are for that. But when this work mounts up, then at that time we have to go and somewhere take the counseling because we are unable to manage that stress. What the words you use perfect was the distress that we are not able to handle. Second is that you said that we have to say no with a smile. Everything under the sun is not possible for us to complete. And sometimes, that in this whole journey, we forget to tell no to our own clients, and later they sleep well and we are under stress. you know this is basically faced by each and everybody across the world who are having such a task where it's a brain task. Every day we are brainstorming up with so many different topics with different sectors, and at last, we are ending up ourselves on the health issues with of a stress, basically due to stress. Ma'am, thank you so much for your wonderful topic explanation that has really helped everyone to again come back to the point that whenever they are free, they can again recall all the points that you have already said, and they are the basic things. This is also an important part of our life's balance sheet. This is the thing that we need to balance. And ma'am, really, you were very best today. Like the energy, I was just thinking how you are speaking for 2 hours along. So once more, sir, ma'am, we appreciate you on this thing. And now, continuing forward, I would like to end this session by just putting a small note of thanks for everyone who has been a part of this session. It is such an honor to be a part of the wonderful webcast on building resilience and coping skills for managing stress effectively, organized by the Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, ICAI. On behalf of the Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, we would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our speaker, Sri Shraddha Ravindran, for her enlightening session. A wide round of applause for you, ma'am, and thanks a lot to the organizers of Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, ICAI, our today's speaker, Sri Shraddha ma'am, other stakeholders of this webcast, Dr. Shambhit Kumar Mishra, his team, the technical team support who was with us for a long time. Finally, we would like to thank each and every participant who has taken time for making this webcast a grand success. Thank you all, everyone, for joining today's session. Our enrichment committee would soon be in the action with new topics, with new speakers, and new motivational things. So until then, I am Sia Bhavi Thakkar signing off today's evening and wish you all a very good day ahead. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Yes. Yes. Thank you.